Out front now, Vladimir Milov, a former deputy minister of energy in Russia who served under Vladimir Putin before resigning, and the investigative journalist Andrei Soldatov. He's the author of the new book, Our Dear Friends in Moscow. Thank you both for being here. Vladimir, we're hours now from this summit, and here's what we know, that Putin will be hosted on U.S. soil at a U.S. military base. He and Trump have agreed to hold a joint press conference afterward. And very obviously, Ukrainian President Zelensky did not get an invite and will not be there. How is Putin interpreting this setup?
Good evening, and I think Putin feels very lucky that he finally got exactly the summit and the setup that he wanted without any participation from Ukraine, Europeans, the people that they both hate, actually, together with President Trump. I think it's important to remember who Putin is. He's an extremely experienced leader with a KGB background, so he's very, very proficient at manipulating people. And Donald Trump, instead, we all know that he's a relatively easy target for manipulation, from anything ranging from flattery to blackmail, which we just heard from Russian media propaganda folks. They really, on the other hand, Putin is praising Trump for good approach to talks, and on the other, they are threatening them with World War III, something which Trump was seriously concerned about, as we know before. So a combination of that, I think this meeting will be about an attempt to manipulate Trump, and Putin is really good at that.
Andrei, you just heard the tone and tenor of Russian state media today. No compromise, total victory over Ukraine, and if America tries to get in the way, it'll be destroyed. That's state media. But what is Putin's mindset going into this meeting?
Well, I think it is. It sounds very correct that, unfortunately, the very fact that he will be in a room with Donald Trump is already a big win for Vladimir Putin, because it means that, first of all, he could then say to the Russian people that time of isolation of the country is over, and he's back, and the country is back, and we can try to get back to the normal, whatever it is, meaning the situation before 2022. And that is sending also a very strong message to the Ukrainians and to the Europeans that, look, we told you from the day one that Ukraine was not a real state, not a real country. And now finally, we got two guys who actually could fix things and decide what to do about Ukraine.
Vladimir, sanctions and tariffs. This is some of the severe consequences that have been discussed. It's part of what Trump has been threatening. It's what definitely the U.S. Congress wants. There's legislation moving through the Senate that would allow the United States to put a 500% tariff on Brazil, India, China, if they continue to buy Russian oil and gas. Would that put legitimate pressure on Putin to stop this war?
Russians are not afraid of any secondary sanctions on countries buying Russian oil. You can see that, and the market's reaction's been, very mild. There was a Reuters headline, I think, that markets consider Trump's threats against India as hollow. It's very simple. If India does not buy Russian oil, somebody else will, maybe with a bigger discount, but still, oil will find its way to consumers. It's very unfortunate that all this discussion on sanctions against Russia had actually some point in time veered off course due to President Trump and Senator Lindsey Graham and the others on sanctioning other countries for something else, but not directly imposing new sanctions against Russia and Russian players for Ukraine. I think it would be best if Trump gets back on this track and will be sanctioning Russia again and not some third countries under complicated schemes.
Andrei, Putin's laying, and we've kind of talked about he's very good at laying on the flattery. He's laying it on thick ahead of this meeting, praising Trump. The way he put it was for his, quote, energetic and sincere efforts to achieve peace. Is it as transparent as it seems to be what he's up to?
No, of course, it has nothing to do with the aspirations to get real peace. It's not about that. Putin is, has a very dark vision of what could be achieved with the United States. And lots of people in the Kremlin believe that they have, at best, maybe 2 years until the midterm elections. So they are very focused on tactical gains. What we can get in Ukraine right now, what we can get with Europe right now and with the United States. But the very fact that he might be in the same room with Trump, that would be absolutely enough for Putin. He is not really interested in the immediate results of this conversation.
Vladimir, this idea of a joint press conference afterward, what would that mean for Vladimir Putin?
It will mean very much. It's, again, as many guests said before in your show, it's his legitimization, because he was an outcast for years, and this is the way it was meant to be after he invaded Ukraine, that there will be punishment and Russia will remain isolated internationally until it stops the aggression and withdraws the troops. But Putin was saying all along that this is not going to happen, and I'm going to, achieve my goals one way or another. I will be back at the international stage talking to world leaders. You see, they're even putting forward a very different agenda. The U.S.-American, arms control agenda, rare earth mining, whatever. They want to sort of sway all these things away from even discussing Ukraine. And I think a press conference also will give Putin a great opportunity to again, wear this conversation off course.
What I'm gathering from both of you is you don't seem nearly as optimistic as President Trump on how they are going to come out of this meeting. Gentlemen, thank you both. I appreciate your time.